What's up nerds, Fino here. With the Rashomon rerun, we got the introduction of 4-star Fous. You can only use these on servants who have 1000 bonus stats from Fous. The cap used to be 990, but now it's 1000 for 3-star Fous and below. After this point, you can use 4-star Fous to crawl your way up to the second cap of 2000. And I do mean crawl. Each 4-star foe only gives 20 for its respective stat. However, it's the only game in town as the other kinds don't work past the 1k mark. As for getting them, you've got two sources. The more realistic one is events. From here on out, a lot of events will have a few, whether in damage ladders, shops, or hidden away elsewhere. The other source is the rare prism shop. Eventually, we'll see 4-star foes be a monthly purchase, though given that you're trading 3 rare prisms for a single foe, it's very painful and not very practical. In essence, you're getting these at a snail's pace, so you'll want to pick your targets carefully. The obvious application is to enlarge your genitalia by giving them to your waifu. That aside, I can think of 3 general use cases. The first is to dump them all into a single beat stick. I'd say Kualter is the ideal pick here because he has the highest stat premiums in the game. Alright, so let's unpack that. Each servant class has a base attack stat multiplier, and 3 classes have 1.1, the highest multiplier. These are Berserkers, Rulers, and Avengers. We can rule out Rulers because none of them break 10k attack without grails. Now looking at the highest attack servants, we can narrow down our picks. We have Jalter, King Protea, Kualter, Kintoki Zerk, and Dantes. King Protea is out because she's an alter ego, so our choices boil down to 2 Berserkers and 2 Avengers. I'll talk about Dantes later, so let's set him aside for now. Jalter has the highest base attack, but the decisive factor against her is class advantage. Avengers only have advantage against Rulers and Berserkers, which means your stat value is blunted somewhat across a lot of content. Berserkers, on the other hand, have 1.5 times damage against all but 2 classes. Foreigners are extremely rare enemies, and I can only think of one example when you encounter them in regular farming. That's during the Oniland event. The other is Shielder, which, yeah, I guess if Mash decides she's had enough of Senpai's shit, you're in a tough spot. Otherwise, I think you're good. So yeah, for the purposes of having a stat stick, that narrows down our picks to Kintoki and Kualter. I favor Ku on this one because he leans very heavily on his base attack and Buster Brave Chains, much more so than his NP. An advantage he has over Kintoki is that his kit is heavily defensive, which means he also benefits quite a bit from extra health. Kualter is also relevant in more high difficulty content than Toki, who spontaneously explodes if you leave him unattended. That's the case for raw stat values. Next up we have the split case. Some characters desperately want extra health, but their attack stat is a lot less relevant. Hans is the prime example where he has a hard time surviving. Some people even grail him just for survivability. If you put all your health foes into Hans, that still leaves the attack foes. These you can give to a character with the opposite problem, someone who has bulk but needs power. Siegfried, the various rulers, and Nursery Rhyme come to mind. The final case is farming, which I'd argue is the most relevant. A lot of flexible farming characters like Arash and Raiko want extra reach to guarantee a 3-turn clear, though I'll say Arash is fine until like Lost Belt 4. When you're doing the same stage like 500 times during a Christmas event, or Valentine's 3, extra turns add up fast and you want to make that process as brainless as possible. You can do challenge quests with finesse and strategy, but farming is all about raw numbers. Of the various candidates, Raiko is the one I favor because she's usually the final wave killer and that's the beefiest one. Even if you fail a 3-turn, her NP gives you stars and sets up a huge follow-up that'll kill whatever's left. After her is Paul Bunyan. She's an upcoming 1-star welfare servant with high team utility and a lightning fast NP. Shortest animation in the game. Now she has trouble clearing with her base stats, but if you grail and foe her, she becomes one of the best K-scope users. I'll hold back a bit because this ain't the Paul Bunyan servant guide, but she can increase the reach of your other attackers and her low cost means you get to run a greedy backline. The final example I want to cover is the Scotty farmer. Dantes and Lancelot can do a really degenerate clear, where they NP every turn by refunding off overkill damage and help from 2 Scotties. This means one attacker quickly clears all 3 waves. However, this requires a lot of investment. You need a Scotty, a high NP level on your attacker, and a limit broken K-scope. In other words, it's a rich man's team, though very convenient as you can remove a rush and aren't tied to plug suit. In this broad farming case, you can allocate health foes elsewhere, though for Paul Bunyan I would 100% give her both types. Even at very high levels, she'll shatter from a stiff breeze, and you need that extra buffer between her and death. That's my advice. Have fun agonizing. As for me, the choice was obvious. Raiko is waifu, Raiko is power. Easy peasy. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, by all means like, subscribe, and watch me stream on Twitch. Gonna roll for another Raiko on Sunday between E3 coverage, so stop on by. Till next time.